Hi, this is Keith with How to Build Your Own Home, and every once in a while when you do design a home, you're going to have some interesting engineering to accommodate for that design. We're dealing with some strong walls here on this home. Along the entire wall here, we've got strong walls, which is really kind of a combination of wood and metal, sometimes just metal. And you can see the reinforced metal down below here. And this strong wall is basically for shear. Shear is for the support of the home when it can shift back and forth this way for any reason. Could be wind, could be earthquake, could be just about anything, just for additional support. And so when you need that additional shear, because we're going up, this is a 12-foot ceiling, and on top of that wall we have a massive vaulted ceiling going up to 22 feet of interior vault, close to 22 feet. And so when you go up that tall, that high, you need additional support. You need that shear support. That's what a strong wall's for. A house is not just wood put on a concrete foundation. It's mounted. It's secured to that foundation in a lot of different ways. You'll see over here that we've got straps right here. This strap here was basically installed with this foundation. That goes all the way into the concrete, and when the sheeting goes up, you can see we have a triple ply of wood right here, and that's going to come all the way up and nail to that. That's mounting to the foundation. We got some 22 caliber concrete nails, which are nailed into the plate, which is the bottom plate here, and we also have some J-bolts. These J-bolts here were installed again with the concrete when it was poured, and we pull all that down and anchor it to the concrete foundation. You can see how pretty intense this can be. We had an engineering change, and our strong walls had to change because some things weren't coming out as far as the calculations are needed. So because our footings were extra deep, our footings were almost 18 inches deep, we were able to go down the depth we need with this bolt, and you can see it right here where we got a nut on this holding the whole strong wall down, and we glued that down with some epoxy. And this here is a set 3G. It's really expensive stuff. It's like 60 bucks a twosome like that, and that's epoxied in there, and you can see where it kind of oozed out just a little bit there at the base of the foundation. That thing is in there really tight. It is like super strong concrete, and that's epoxied in there. Other things you'll have are basically, these are what a titan is, and sometimes you'll see longer titans and shorter titans, and they will go down like you've seen on the base plate there. We're anchoring this entire home down. Some areas have more stringent requirements. If you're in an earthquake zone, they may have some different requirements. Here it was basically because of the height of the building. We're going to really bring in some interesting light, and when I lifted that ceiling up to bring in more windows, it called for this. So other things you'll need are straps. These are just some regular straps, again for additional shear. This will go in several spots to connect different wall structures. We have some coil straps as well, and more different types of hold downs. I was here this morning. My framer says I need the bolts for these, which will be drilled down and epoxied in, and then those will go down basically over a bolt that we drill and go right up against the stud right here, again to anchor the building to the ground. So there's a lot of secure hold downs, which you would call, and a lot of this is called a hold down mechanism or hold down engineering to hold the house down to the ground. So keep it on the foundation. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got 7 more of these coming today, so we got a lot of holes to drill, but make sure you read your plans and talk with your engineer, because when we drill these holes, every hole we drill, the engineer has to come out, measure the depth, make sure it's the proper depth, and make sure that the hole's the proper width. You don't want to go too big. If it's too big, then you're going to have more epoxy than you need. You want that to be as snug as you can, but you want to have room for the epoxy to fit in there. So for example, if I have a 5/8 bolt right here, he approved a 1-inch drill bit. and I made sure that that was going to be a 1-inch drill bit. So follow your engineering, read it closely, and if you don't understand it, call your engineer. They are there. They'll take that call. And it works out great if you do it that way. I've seen a lot of people do things without the engineer approval. I saw an owner builder build a home, and they had some strong walls arrive, and he didn't use the strong walls anywhere on his build. He says, well, we just didn't think we needed them, but they didn't call the engineer, and they had to have some major retrofitting on the house because they just ignored what these were. When they arrived, he didn't even know what they were, and ended up not using them and costing himself a lot of time and labor. So anyway, when you're doing some interesting things to a home, sometimes you need some really interesting engineering. And take your time, study it out, talk with your engineer, and you will be cleared, and you'll have a full knowledge as to how to install it and why it needs to be installed. This is Keith with How to Build Your Own Home.